Let's be honest, 3D printing used to be about solving problems. Now it's about fidget toys, clickers, and things to put on your desk that do absolutely nothing. Well, I've had enough and I've made a desktop safe. Biff, pow, zap, clunk, clunk, ouchie. Hey guys. Well, I've been tinkering again and this 3D model is completely free to download. It has classic lines, reminiscent of the Victorian era. It has a moving tumbler that clicks with mechanical mystery. It has shiny gears that respond to the handle, awaiting that perfect moment when everything aligns and the door opens. It's small enough to fit on a bamboo A1 plate, because yes, I do listen to my followers. And yet it's big enough to impose its presence upon any desk, shelf or unsuspecting co-worker. It's true, I've had enough of clickers, fidget toys and pointless desktop furniture. So I've done the only thing I could. I've made all three. I tried resisting, made a cup of tea, took a walk, swore at a priest, questioned my life choices, and still ended up here. The dial clicks under the twitching fingers of a would-be thief because, well, that's its job. It clicks. That's all it does. The handle spins the gears in a strangely satisfying manner that beckons with a sense of optimism that will never be reciprocated. And the door, the beefy, solid door, well, it doesn't even open because it's a big fat fake. Crafted by the VogMan Elite subdivision Do Nothing Industries, this product oozes with a sense of British ingenuity and then completely fails to live up to it. I suggested that the dial and gears form an integrated mesh of complexity that could frustrate light-fingered colleagues. But Do Nothing are experts in their field and pointed out that superglue achieves the same outcome and meets the high demand for superfluous 3D printing junk. It's a marvel of mechanical futility that proudly attained a patent status of, you're kidding, right? This fact is partly commemorated by the optional label. Print it, don't print it, the choice is yours, as is the placement, side, back, or wherever your mischief leads. The only thing you need to be 100% certain of, and I say this before the morons start complaining, is this is just a silly bit of fun and was always meant to be just that. Designed with FDM in mind, there is a potential to print this with resin, though flat sides aren't typically resin printing's best friend. But for FDM, it's super easy. No supports, enough parts to make it feel like you've constructed something, but few enough to keep it nice and simple. Painting or colour printing is down to you, but the good news is you don't need a multi-filament printer. So if you've just bought the Bamboo Labs H2D Plus AMS2 Pro combo, sorry. And if you don't fancy printing something with multiple parts, I've made a solid version that looks almost the same, but nothing moves. No supports are needed as I've built these into the design, but you will still need to glue the handle in place. I've provided a simple PDF instruction leaflet with my personal colour options, but you do you. Assembly is easy, though it looks tricky at a glance, so I'll cover it here just for fun. The safe prints happily lying on its back without any complaint, which, as a married man, I found oddly unusual and strangely nostalgic. The door faces outward with its back to the plate, and with these two prints done, that's the bulk of the printing time over with. The smaller pieces take very little time at all. Starting with the gears to be purely random, I printed off-colour inserts to help them pop. These should push in tightly without any need for glue. This is the front face of the door, and I would suggest a little glue in this circular recess. After that, push in the out dial and position it so that the markings look correct. These parts are tumbler 2 and 3. Notice the notches out of tumbler 2. These go over these tiny arms. I recommend applying a little glue to these arms and around the bottom edges of tumbler 2, and I mean a little. Too much glue will ruin the appearance very quickly. Then, remembering where these notches were, hook the outer part over the pointy bit, which is a technical engineering term, and then push everything into place. This part is the inner dial, which also has grooves on the underside to aid alignment. Again, I recommend very lightly applying a little glue to the inside edges of this part, then pushing it into place. This part is tumbler 1 and it's a tiny dial with knurled edges. A dab of glue and it sits perfectly atop your now finished dial stack. This then gets positioned onto the door, but no glue should be applied. Instead, this part, the serrated edged clicker wheel, should be pushed all the way through from the back and lock everything into place. Applying a little glue is recommended, but make sure that the tumbler can rotate freely once everything's dried. Looking at the back of the door again, add a little glue into this recess and push the clicker pointer into position. This may need a little force as it's a tight fit, and the pointy end needs to slide in comfortably between the serrations on the wheel. But with that done, we now have ourselves a clicker. From the front, take the medium gear and spear it into position through the central hole using a bolt. Apply glue and push on the bolt cap. You can be a bit slap happy with the glue on this side as long as the gear itself can still rotate. Now, do exactly the same thing with the large gear. Bolt 3 gets pushed through the back with no glue, but once in position, a little glue can be added to the top. The small gear can now be pushed down. A little more glue can be added to the insides of part handle 2, and then this pushes home firmly and allowed to dry. Again, just make sure that the gears can freely rotate. Add a little glue into the hexagonal recess and adhere this onto handle 2. If, like me, you're a little mischievous, now is the time to throw in something heavy along with a little pocket change, as in a moment we're going to glue on the door. This gives the impression that something valuable is inside, which will really torment those nosy swines around you. And yes, I know I could have added hinges. I could have added a working lock. But this is much more fun. And you're done. If you've made it this far without gluing your eyebrows together, congratulations. In this configuration, the gears will spin freely with a turn of the handle. It makes an ideal fidget toy for bring your kids to work day, or maybe to entertain your Neanderthal boss. Alternatively, if you apply glue beneath the large gear and lock it into position, the other gears will almost engage, giving the impression that something is locked, like it's almost waiting for the ideal code. Then you can challenge colleagues to try and guess the combination whilst you sit back and enjoy the sweet, sweet sound of wasted time, which, after all, is the unofficial anthem of office life. In wrapping up this video, I want to remind you that this project is a masterclass in deliberate absurdity. A fully fabricated desktop safe that looks complex, feels purposeful, and does absolutely nothing. Designed with tongue firmly wedged in cheek, it parodies the endless stream of 3D printed clickers, fidget toys, and desktop ornaments by combining all three into one gloriously pointless object. But beneath the humour lies what I hope is a genuinely fun design, satisfying to build, oddly pleasing to interact with, and just sharp enough in tone to make you wonder, if only for a second, whether it might actually work. Finally, and just to be clear, I don't really dislike fidget toys or clickers, though between you and me, if I never saw another desktop stationery holder again, I might finally stop having that recurring dream where I'm buried under a mountain of paper clips. But seriously, anything that lets people express a little creativity is a good thing. It's a healthy thing, and that's what keeps this community fun. So please give this one a go. download it from your favourite library, and if you do, please tag me in. I love to see your makes, and I'll do my best to comment on every single one. So that's it for this video guys. Take care, and thanks for watching.